When the San Antonio FBI agents arrived in Del Rio, they were briefed on the latest developments of the search. Despite the efforts of dozens of cooperating law enforcement agencies, they had come up with nothing. Nearly 7 hours had passed since Inspector Richard Latham had been abducted. By the end of the first night's investigation, there were still no promising leads.
You always hope that they'll turn them loose, but history doesn't prove that out. So basically, we knew we were looking for a body after probably late that evening.
The full-scale search resumed the next morning. Fixed-wing aircraft, which could travel faster and farther than helicopters, widened the search perimeter to cover the immense Texas brush. Texas state troopers continued their roadblocks in the area surrounding Del Rio. Although by that time, they knew the suspects had probably gone to ground. In El Paso, an elderly couple who owned a grey Pontiac Grand Prix were eliminated as suspects by Special Agent Riley. But the other owner sold his car to a man by the name of Ricardo Cortez. Cortez had failed to register the vehicle in his name. A background check showed Cortez had a criminal record for drug possession. Riley found his most current address.
I went to that address, spoke with Cortez's mother, and determined that he had been out of town for 3 or 4 days. She was not sure when he was going to be back. She stated that Cortez still owned the car in question and had the car with him. I went to the El Paso Police Department and obtained a photograph of Cortez and wired a copy to the port of entry in Del Rio, Texas.
Cortez looked similar to the composite of the driver. Finally, agents had their first suspect, something specific they could move in on, in hopes of finding Richard Latham and the men who abducted him. But as their hopes rose, 80 kilometers away, a man collecting firewood near Eagle Pass, Texas, made a grisly discovery. The body of a man wearing a U.S. Customs uniform. Local officers secured the scene, but decided nobody could enter until the FBI arrived. While agents at the Del Rio port of entry boarded a helicopter for the 100-kilometer flight to Eagle Pass, Texas state troopers continued to man roadblocks throughout the area. The kidnappers had seemingly slipped through the net. Though frustrated, Trooper Art Corral, who patrolled the section from Del Rio to El Paso, kept up the search.
We were out there for hours checking cars and on the roadblock, and it seemed like we weren't getting anywhere. That our supervisor advised to go ahead and stay on that road, but break off the roadblock. So, my partner and I decided to stop cars that had 3 or more Latin males in the car. About that time, we saw this car go by, and there were 3 people in the car.
However unlikely, the men inside could be connected to the abduction.